I just realized I didn't put in my earphones. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses.
Hello, welcome everyone.
I didn't know if there was an echo. Welcome, where we are musing on Once Upon a Time. I am once more joined by Weaver's Grace, where we're going to talk everything once again about Once Upon a Time, the TV show that made us happy, made us sad, and made us mad a lot of the time.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, last time we basically just only talked about Hook, or rather the crocodile episode the whole time, because it was such a seminal episode. But this time around, I think we're going to move through the last ones of the first part of season 2. Yeah, before they had the big break at Thanksgiving. And here I have the wrong thing up. Okay, I have a gallery I was going to share, because we're going to start with Tallahassee. We're going to start with Tallahassee, which is a great episode for Emma. Yeah, and
hi, Apollo Patriot.
Oh, yay! Welcome. Hello, and hail to Greek mythology. Yes, I know you love your blue Twilight women, and what's the mortals that we all are. Yeah, so yeah, it was a continuation of Captain Rope, where yeah, Hook was tied up. He was tied up a lot in this season.
He was.
Yeah, and whoopsie. Come off it now. Okay, that picture's wrong. All right, let's see. He and Emma climbed up a beanstalk, so that was interesting. And there they are looking up at the beanstalk. It was a crazy episode, but one thing that this episode was so iconic was because it was where, for me, Emma met Neil. Emma met Balefire. I'm trying to get to that picture here. So
where it was sweet. It was, it was, I kind of like the Swan Fire. I like Captain Swan too. So
yeah,
but Swan Fire had its first love stuff.
Yes. And of course, here it is. Finally, I got to it. Yeah. And it was
the car.
Yeah, there's the car. And we also, it was not just the first love, but this was Henry's parents.
Yes.
That we're dealing with too. And we'd always wanted to know about his father. We all suspected that it was going to be Balefire. And we all kind of suspected that maybe Neil was going to be, this character was going to be Balefire. But I will say this, at this point in the story, I still wasn't sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oops.
I kind of thought he's probably going to end up being Henry's dad, but I wasn't sure at that point he was going to be Balefire.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that I was almost positive it was Balefire, but you just didn't know, because it could have been somebody else. You know what I'm saying? There was no reason to think he was Balefire, and I do recall thinking he didn't quite look like a grown-up Balefire. Neil didn't.
But that was a good sign, and that's how she ended up getting the little yellow Volkswagen.
Oh, yes. And the fact that they were both stealing the same car, that was fun. They had a lot of chemistry, I thought. And I thought that, well, I was always, even though I liked Captain Swan, I ultimately wanted Neil and Emma to end up together.
I kind of did too. It was a hard choice.
Yeah, but well, because it was because of the whole family thing, and you want your happy endings, right? So I don't know. Now, when you first saw it, did you like Neil, or did you?
On this episode?
Yeah.
I think I kind of started liking him because you could tell he loved Emma.
Mm-hmm.
And And then when we found out he was Balefire, it's like, okay, this is interesting. And then those scenes with Henry. I mean, I think I liked him too in the scenes with Henry because you found out he didn't even know he had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of think he's in the same situation that Rumpel was. And
Oh, you're right.
because he was separated from his son. Now, granted, his situation was different because he ran and actually, in a way, he was kind of a coward because he ran because he didn't want to face his dad. He left Emma because August told him he knew he was Balefire and he didn't want to face his dad, so he just basically bailed.
Yeah.
So he kind of did a lot of the same things he accused his dad of doing.
That's true. But do I also understand? Though I remember that he also told Neil that he had to ditch Emma because it was like Emma's destiny or something.
Yeah, I think it was. So it wasn't just Neil because
No, it wasn't
sadly
Neil running away because at this point he didn't know.
he didn't know who she was.
Yeah, and that August did that to get his attention because saying, "I know that you're this fairy tale person and all that," and but man, I still never quite bought the whole thing with August framing her and putting her in prison. Like, I don't see why that was necessary.
Oh, I know, to have Henry. Well, I guess to get Henry out of her life because she gave him up for adoption. But
But that
yeah,
didn't even happen at this point, though.
that's true. Yeah, August wasn't perfect either and he was doing it because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he was trying to avoid his destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And August is sitting there, you got to frame her for murder so she can go to jail. And I never quite understood that part of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit of a stretch that was what had to happen.
Yeah, it was the theft of the watches or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so August was kind of selfish too because he was doing it so he could get his cure for his lying, not just to have her break. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of gray areas in all these characters, and that's why we like them because they're basically fallible human beings.
Yeah. I guess the only part of it that I didn't quite get or buy was that Neil just didn't tell him to, jump off a cliff. It's like, really,
Yeah.
I'm going to frame her so she can go to jail and all this kind of stuff to fulfill a destiny. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think that I was just kind of like, that's a little bit iffy. And of course, if he had known that she was pregnant, he would never have dumped her.
Right. And that caused a lot of the Captain Swan people to jump on Neil all the time because it's like, oh, Hook's not leaving. They gave them, but Neil really loved Emma.
Yeah. It was a reach. It was, I'm not going to quite call it bad writing, but it was a reach that Neil made that decision to turn in Emma, in my humble opinion. Yes. But on the other hand, it did get them to where they needed to go, which having her pregnant and in prison.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, the best part.
We got another person joining us.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, and the best part of this episode. Hello, Ara. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the other good part about the episode. Emma and Hook in the present day having an adventure with another cast member from Lost, from the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk.
I like that part. I like the Jack and the Beanstalk thing.
Yeah. And they had to steal
a magic bean.
Yeah, magic bean, because at this time, magic beans were actually hard to find. Later, they became as numerous as,
except when Rumpel needed it, so he needed a dark purse because, I mean, it was like, okay, and then And then when we got to season 7, Henry had a whole big whacking supply of them.
I know, we don't even know where he got. Oh, wait, they were like hidden behind in a wall or something. Oh yeah, there he is. I kept calling him Hurley because that's what he was on Lost. But this actually,
Anton.
Yeah,
Tiny.
Tiny. Thank you. Yeah, this stuff with Captain Swan was some of their best stuff.
It was.
I thought that it was funny. It was, it's adventurous, and Hook. Oh my gosh, Hook was so nice. Let's just put it that way. In this, the whole thing where, here we go. Let's objectify Hook for a bit. It's like not objectify it, but look at
Was
this.
that the beginning of the episode too, where he clonked Belle in the backstory?
No, that was later.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is that famous scene where Emma cut her hand and he had to bind it and put some alcohol on it.
Uses his teeth.
Yeah, he used his teeth. Yeah, I mean,
and his rum,
Yeah, and I think we were all talking about this scene
and he does it very purposely, flirtatiously, to be nice.
Again, like I said, these images here, I think they stayed with everybody for quite a while. The chemistry was really, really hot between the two in these scenes. So,
in my alternate universe, Once Upon a Time fan fiction, I can't decide who I want Emma to end up with because I don't kill Neil.
Mm-hmm.
But then part of me wants her to be with Hook, part of me wants her to be with Neil. So maybe we'll just leave it open-ended.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing that we are completely agreed upon is that we all wanted to have Neil be with a father to Henry, Neil to be a father to Henry, and Neil be a son to Rumpelstiltskin, and all of that. That is absolutely the part that I didn't like. Like, there were enough weird, blended, strange families in Once Upon a Time that we could have all dealt with Emma marrying Hook, but to have Neil out of Henry's life, that was the hardest part.
It was like the writers couldn't come up with a creative way for Emma to choose Hook over Neil.
Yeah.
Other than just, okay, Neil's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's all suddenly about Hook.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like they got themselves into a corner. Let's just kill him off so we don't have the love triangle.
Yeah. And it could have been something also equally as petty. That is that they needed to pare down one regular actor too.
It could have been.
Yeah. That it's like, well, if it's not going to be Neil, then do we really need to keep him around? But I would argue though that they could have done it and had him just as a recurring guest star.
Yeah, just like they did with Ruby or the other actors that weren't in it every episode.
Yeah, like Sean McGuire. He didn't become a regular till season 5, and he was in loads of stuff in season 4 and season 3. Yeah. Actually, more stuff than he was. Yeah, this is where August is just being a jerk. And it's just like, well, I'll send you a postcard. I'm like, gosh, you're awfully flippant for having put this innocent woman into prison.
Yeah. And really, when we think about it, August is the reason August stuck out over in the orphanage, but then that may not have made her into Emma Swan. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, August sucks. I'm sorry. I think I can give everyone a break except for August.
Hey, so maybe we like it that he became back to his little child self and the cute little kid, Jacob Davies.
Yeah. Until they changed that again. Remember they
they turned him back into, that was kind of a ridiculous plot line too. It was like, Rumpel wants to rule the world.
Oh yeah. Well, and then they never actually gave us a scene with him and Marco Geppetto as grown up. We never got to see that reunion. And then here's Emma finding out she is preggers. Yeah, the plus sign. And Henry! Oh gosh, this was great.
Because that was when he was dreaming, wasn't it?
Yes. And see, that's another thing. These scenes with Charming Henry, Yeah, because they're, oh gosh, and then Charming, Grandpa Charming.
Oh, look at the charm attack.
Yeah, Charm Attack. Their scenes were the best part of season 2. One of the best parts of season 2,
And
easily.
then we had that scene between Rumple and Henry where he said, "This is on me,"
Yes, yes. And that was where we also suspected that he was a relative, because he was always nice to Henry. Henry was probably the only person he was decent with, unconditionally.
And
Oh,
then they messed that up too because we didn't get a Henry Rumple relationship.
yeah, they messed that up. And apparently they kind of promised that as well, because he was always talking about, oh yeah, we're going to see loads of that. And then they cut the scenes. Remember that? It was
Well,
a
yeah,
cut.
that great scene in that fourth season episode, so we could have more Frozen, where he
Mm-hmm.
told him he wouldn't take his memories away, and
Yeah, because he said that's what makes you who you are.
yeah, and then
they probably also cut it because it made Rumple look too good, because they changed their minds. I swear they changed their minds in that.
I think they did too, because that wasn't what they promised Robert Carlyle by a mile.
And he's not an idiot. He wouldn't have done all those talking points at San Diego Comic-Con if those talking points weren't given to him. You know that they give him talking points about plots and stuff like, hey, you can say this, you can say that.
Oh, yeah. The charm attack.
Yeah, great scene. And that was also when it kind of became a little bit almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street, where it turns out that what happens in your dreams, like it was real, because they went to that red room. Yeah. All right. And so what was after Tallahassee? I forget which episode that was.
It was. I just had that up a little bit. It was. Was it Into the Deep?
No, I thought oh man, I should.
Hang on. I got it. I know. I was just looking at it.
Oh, it was the stupid Ruby one with the.
Oh, Child of the Moon. That's why we don't remember it.
Yeah, that one kind of sucked. The only good part about that was it showed Belle and Ruby's friendship, that they'd become besties.
Yeah.
And there was some good stuff with Charming, like when he was kind of taming her while she was a wolf.
And that was the one too, if I remember correctly, where Rumple came and did the house call on Henry.
It might have been. But other than that episode sucked. It was too bad, because Ruby was such a good character.
Oh, I know.
I just didn't really care too much about her and her mother. Her mother was just like, just die already. And she did. So,
and they murdered off poor little Billy the mouse.
Yeah, the poor little mouse. That was funny. You are correct. It was in this episode where he was like, "This is on me." When Rumpelstiltskin gave Henry a necklace, and Regina was all, "There's everything with you comes with a price. Don't be messing with me like this." And he was like, "No, for Henry, there is no price." And we were all like, "Yeah, he's so his grandson." Even though technically he didn't know it, right? Rumple didn't know it. It was like he had but his way that he saw the future.
Yeah.
It was like a subconscious, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know, but Henry got all his sneakiness from the Rumpelstiltskin line.
Mm-hmm.
Henry was too. I loved Henry.
Oh yeah, he was great. So that was that. That was that episode. And was there anything else? Oh well. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that the one where? That was the one where Henry. Is that the one where? Let me see. That was the one, I think, where they were mining the. That wasn't the one where Rumple and Regina stole the stuff from the.
No, that was the.
Okay.
That was the one, the last one.
Okay.
That was the Queen of Hearts one.
Yeah. Oh, and Princess Aurora had ended with her saying, "There's a boy and his name's Henry."
Yes. And then they realized that was how that they were going to be able to communicate with each other, and yeah, and that's when it kind of becomes a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, okay, while you go into the and while I'm thinking about it, you're right. That was pretty awesome. That was why it was called Into the Deep, from what I understand correctly.
That next episode, yeah, because
Yeah,
that was the one where Rumpel put Wasn't that the one where Charming went to sleep? Where he put Charming under the sleeping spell? And that was the one where Regina broke up the date between Gold and Belle, which we missed how they got back together in the meantime.
yeah.
Remember their hamburger date, the magic of the condiments?
Yes, yes. Okay, here I've got some stuff here. Let me share the screen. You have some galleries. I didn't bother with Child of the Moon. Who cares? Yeah, there's Aurora, and they decide to start talking to each other. And Henry wakes up with Regina, and you see that's the other thing. We're seeing that Regina is at least able to visit Henry, and she's minding him. And I really like this stuff. And oh, look at Charming. And he's like, there's this woman, her name's Aurora. And that's where she says, we got to go. We've got to go stop it. Oh, and she said something about Cora. Am I right about this? Is that how Regina found out Cora was coming?
I think so, because then she interrupted their date and told Rumpel, well, that's not like how she tells it, that, he's like, I took care of her or something, and then...
But exactly. Yeah. So Granny found out that she's on her way. And then, of course, that ultimate, I mean, we waited. It was about a month, a little more than a month, but it felt like it was forever waiting for this hamburger date. And finally, when it happened, everyone was so excited. So here they are having hamburgers, and Granny's being very snarky. And we never got to see what exactly there was between the two of them. Well, like what made Granny and Rumpelstiltskin, what history they had, but it seemed pretty clear from the way Rumpelstiltskin would talk. It's like, yeah, we have some problems, and that's when Regina comes in and interrupts the date. That also became
Granny's like, everybody get out.
Yeah, she thought there was going to be a big war, as I think. Yeah. Everyone knew how much they all hated each other by this point.
Well, didn't he say, you remember Regina, the woman that locked you up for
30 years or 28 years? And he's like, nothing she says, anything you can say in front of me. And Regina makes a very good point. She's like, when he's saying about Cora, he's like, I'm not afraid of her, or something like that. And Regina says, yes, but now you've got someone you care about, and looked at Belle. And that's what got to him, was the fact that, oh yeah, I'm not afraid of her, but what might she do to Belle? And that's what made him go, I got to go help her, because we got to stop Cora from coming here. This was also the first hint that there was something going on between him and Cora, a little more than we knew. Oops, did I lose you there?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, great scene. The tension between Rumpel and Regina, the fact that they kind of are frenemies, but they still, that loathing that is underneath both of them. And you see this kind of here in Regina's eyes. It's like, this was a great scene.
Yeah, Regina was lucky he didn't do something else to her after the rape thing.
Yeah. But wow, look at this. I mean, look at these actors.
I know. Robert Carlyle can be in like a scene for a second, and he steals the scene.
Yeah, and you just hear the thinking that's going on.
Fear in Belle's eyes, because she's like, "What are they talking about? What's this woman up to?"
Yeah, and she's afraid of Regina, and Regina's kind of like, hey man, and it's not often that Rumpel can look disturbed. But it definitely got to him for sure. Oh yeah, and then this was a zombie fight, right? Wasn't that when there was a whole bunch of zombies?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that was silly.
And then Snow was mad because Cora had killed all these people, and then they found Hook. Was that when they found Hook tied to the tree?
No, that was previously. Yeah, this was This was
That was
Hook.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took Aurora hostage, and this is Hook. Hook set her free, but what we didn't know is that they had taken
Her
her
heart.
heart, and then that was going to control her. So, and then this scene, I love this when they decide that the only way to get in touch with people in that red room is if you've been under the curse, and they were like, "There's no way we're putting Henry under there," so they're brewing the poison curse, and I love the scene between her and Henry, where it's like, "Watch mommy brew some poison."
And then Charming pricks his finger on the spindle.
Yeah, and there's just some really good dialogue between the two of them. What's with that?
I can't remember what the rose was. Oh, it was that flower for the sleeping.
Yeah, because then they were trying to put Snow to sleep. Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene. Oh my gosh, it was so good when Rumpel was kind of like, once upon a time, when he told Henry the story and then told them what to say. And then in this case, we have Charming pricking his finger. And oh my gosh, I remember thinking it looked like a drug. It looked like a drug scene, and then he conks himself out.
Yeah. But in the meantime, somebody was nice enough to he was nice and cozy when they got back. I think he was, because that was where Snow was running to get to Charming to wake him up.
Yes.
And we had the Rooms of Fire. All I can think of is that Stevie Nicks song about rooms on fire. It was a good song, but
oh yeah. Well, they did. They had a lot of like Once Upon a Time crack videos that also talked about them. And oh yeah, this was the one. That was the scene where I was saying where Rumpel put Henry to sleep with the necklace, and Charming was helping him. And then they realized it was too dangerous, and they were going to have Charming do it. And it was a really good snowing scene because snowing hadn't been together for a lot of it.
It was like they finally got back together, then they got separated again.
Yeah. And the music happened. And we love it when the music happens, whenever snowing music happens. And they go to kiss because they thought that they could kiss and that would break the curse. Now, of course, I don't know what freaking planet they were living on because it wasn't going to work.
They're in like dream nightmare land. Hi, Allison.
Oh, hello,
Allison joined us.
I live, dinner's over. Excellent. Well, welcome, Allison. We're talking about Into the Deep. This episode where we finally have the snowing reunion, and then they realize, oops, we can't actually touch each other. So maybe they had a reason to think it would work because if they were coming back with burns, maybe they had a reason to think a kiss would work.
Yeah, maybe.
But they were wrong.
But then she had to find him and get back here to wake him up.
Yeah, and so that's what made it also more desperate that they had.
There's our Hook.
Oh yeah, there's Hook. Yeah, gratuitous picture of Hook. And Cora, my gosh, she's so evil. There she is.
Yeah, she was definitely a match for Rumpel and Regina.
Yeah. Yeah,
we could have kept some of these people around to be big bads.
Mm-hmm.
But Barbara Hershey was a big time name, so I guess, they didn't want to keep her around longer than they probably couldn't afford to keep her.
I was about ready to say they probably couldn't afford her. But to be fair, I'm also thinking that, oh my gosh, Cora, 9th episode of Once Upon a Time. That the thing about Cora is that I think that her arc was pretty much perfect the way it was. Like when her arc ended, and they should have left it there and not revisited her, except like they did in Once Upon a Time in Wonderland a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should have let it be because her dying the way she did, that was
the episode where Hook went in to find out about Rumpelstiltskin from Belle.
yes, the Queen of Hearts episode.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was this episode. It wasn't Into the Deep. And he is trying to find out about the dagger. He's pretending he's a friend to Belle.
And there's Belle with all her little hashtags on the wall.
Yeah, little marks. Yeah, and this goes to tell you how long Regina had her locked up even before the asylum and all that. What she did was incredibly cruel to Belle. And once Hook finds out that Belle has no idea what the dagger is, that's where the notorious scene where he pretty much punches her in the face so hard she's knocked out.
Well, then he was going to kill her, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. And then Regina stopped him.
Oh, hi, Jen.
Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I'm just here listening. I finally made it to one. Hello, this is Jennifer. Well, hello there. Yeah,
one of my longtime dearies.
Oh, sweet.
She was one of my first dearies, I think, I met on Twitter.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yay.
And, yes, great to see you. Great to see you all. Here's Regina in one of her most awesome dresses, by the way. I love this dress. And this is where we first see Hook and Regina, and it's like,
oh yeah, there was
serious chemistry,
serious sparks going there.
Mm-hmm. And I know that some Captain Swan wanted, hysterical people. Not that Captain Swan people are hysterical, but you know what I mean. That they wanted to pretend like no, nothing happened between those two. It's like, yes, something happened between those two, but that was before he met Emma, so there was no reason to be all fussy about it.
And there's a Nick joining us. Hi, Nick.
Oh, hello! Wow, whole gang's showing up.
Yeah,
thank you. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we're talking some Captain. Was it Captain Queen, or what was it called? Or Evil Hook, I think, or I forget what the ship name was.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Yeah, but look at that dress. Yeah, the amazing costumes by Edward. Oh gosh, it just went right out my brain. Eduardo, something or other. Emmy Award-winning costume designer. Amazing.
Queen, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Why do people get insecure about half of their ship having an X? Exactly, Allison, because people are ridiculous. Mainly because...
I guess it was Hook Queen.
Oh, well, there we are.
Let me see.
Yeah. And they later came back to it because a lot of people were saying...
Oh, Pirate Queen, that's what it was.
Oh, that makes sense. Pirate Queen, because of... whatever.
Poor Charming.
Yeah, Sleeping Charming. I approved. I think we all approved. We loved Charming asleep, Charming awake.
Yes, Nick, we loved our evil queen.
Yeah. Yeah, Atlantic Priya did do an amazing job, absolutely. And here we have Charming, like so Sleeping Charming. It was beautiful.
And Jennifer seconds the I Love Lana. Yes, she was great. That was why splitting herself was a stupid plot point.
Yeah. And then how clumsily they tried to have Hook apologize for punching Belle in the face because everyone was saying how he just got away with everything, and they're all pretending it didn't happen, and they were trying to say how horrible Rumple was to her, but it was also like breaking the fourth wall, and we were like, we don't buy it. Because once again, she's like, it's okay. It's like, oh, all right. So she can forgive Hook for that, but can't forgive, Rumple for.
Oh, is this for? Yeah, Rumple and Regina are deciding they have to go steal the
magic,
the fairy dust.
Yeah, because they have to stop Cora at all costs, and the fact that these two are so desperate to stop Cora, that also says what kind of a menace she really is, and how that both of them are genuinely afraid of her, even though Rumple was kind of talking tough. But yeah, and look at Regina even.
Yeah.
And she, don't be playing this game. We got to stop her. We got to do what it takes to stop her, and they almost did.
And Rumple with his flu.
Oh gosh, look at these great pictures. All these scenes with Robert Carlyle and Lena Priya were just amazing.
Jennifer's one of my Robert Carlyle. She appreciates the flu.
Yeah. I mean, look at this.
You know.
Good stuff. I mean, I can just sit and watch stills of the two of them acting together. Like, look at that. Look at that
His
face.
eyes, yes.
Yeah. They acted the living daylights out of this stuff. Oh, and look at her face. Because, Cora was also the most vulnerable part for Regina. Because even though she hated her, she banished her, she did all of that to her. At the end of the day, it was still her mother that we're talking about here. And she's worried about Henry. Oh yeah,
Yes.
this is that silly part where they got
Rumpel sold cell.
yeah. Well, it was silly, but it actually was kind of clever
It was.
Because this is the part that I wanted to see, that he just sat and wrote Emma, 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 Emma in this squid ink. And at first it's like, wow, that dude was obsessed. And we learned, yes, he was obsessed, writing Emma's name over and over and over again, trying to get it ingrained in him, but also that vague part of Rumpelstiltskin that could see into the future knew that this would be needed.
And then we have that ending scene in the Queen of Hearts with him and Emma was just a absolutely, I know we haven't got the Queen of Hearts yet, but that scene was absolutely wonderfully played between him and Emma, because it was like, I can never make you, I could never imagine you. Like, she figured he manipulated everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
he didn't have.
Yeah, that it was part of her being the chosen one and all that kind of stuff. Was she the chosen one? Or something like that.
The savior.
The savior, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I love this where we now have Henry reading the fairy tale to Charming. I thought that was a great, that magical stuff. Exactly. And it harkens back to that these are fairy tales. Yes. These are beautiful, beautiful fairy tales.
And I always felt the Emma savior with a small s, because we as religious folks know that whole thing.
Yeah, because she became really bad at it.
Yeah.
And then Regina with Henry. I mean, oh, look at that little boy. He's so cute. Yeah, Nick, Cora had a classic case of pushy motheritis. Yes, she did. Mm-hmm. And gosh, just great scenes. Oh, for reasons, sleeping.
Yes,
sleeping charming. But also the magic of the storybook, that was always a part of what was going on. Oh yeah, Regina sent Hook to then in the flashback. Regina sent Hook to kill Cora with a poisoned hook, but of course it didn't work. And that's when we find out that indeed the Queen of Hearts is Cora.
Oh.
But we suspected that because she had the hearts everywhere, and it made sense. So that's when Cora and Hook start plotting behind Regina's back. So I mean, they're all backstabbing each other, left and right.
Oh, admire Hook for a minute.
Yeah, good picture of Hook.
Yeah.
Great, great costumes. Eduardo Castro, I think that's his name. Oh, look at that charming, yeah, that smile. And
that's the Hook we love.
Yeah.
You never knew whether trusting. And then there's old Rumpelstiltskin cell.
Mm-hmm. And Hook has that shriveled bean.
Yeah.
That eventually they take to the magic waters. But the good dialogue here between him and Emma, where she was like, you SOB, you betrayed us, all that kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, because I'm evil. But then I forget what it was exactly that he said that made him think. He said something like, not all of it was pretending or something.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit of that, maybe he really kind of does have a thing for Emma.
Yeah, Cora's.
Yeah, and gets that emotion going in there. It's like, okay.
Back to the mines to steal the dust.
Yeah. Oh, and then, Red Riding Hood. she figures out that they're up to something with Henry, and they're like, we got to go stop them. Yeah.
Oh, Megan was so good.
Yes. Oh gosh, she was so good. Yeah. And I'm going to skip here to the part where I call this the Phantom Menace part, because it reminds me so much of that scene from episode 1 of Star Wars with the Gungans, that this was how they were preserved from the curse. It shows from the flashback that Cora and
plastic bubble over them.
Yeah, but that's how they were protected. And Regina, they pretended that Cora was dead. And there was also a moving scene where Cora is pretending to be dead, and Regina comes in, and she's genuinely devastated. It's like, okay, Mom, yeah, there you are, but I still love you. You know, really sad. Yeah, look at that. But yeah, it was all pretend. They faked her death because they're all backstabbing each other left and right. And meanwhile, this is when Emma and Snow had a really good mother-daughter moment. The season 2 had so many good mother-daughter, father-son, father-daughter, all sorts of, grandparent, grandson, great moments. And they realized something's up with this ink. This is what it is. It's got octopus ink. Let's blow on it, and woohoo! It's magic.
And then they realized that Rumple could have got out of that cell anytime he wanted.
Exactly. But that wasn't part of the plan.
Right. So I just thought that was like...
Yeah. And then that's how they get out. Yay. And the showdown that they have.
Oh, yeah, her and Hook, yeah.
Yeah, so they go to the magic waters to put the bean in so that they can go and make their way back to Storybook, where Storybrook, where the magic waters come out of the well. It's all very convenient when you really think about it, but that's okay, because it's magic. It's a fairy tale. And oh my gosh, when Emma and Hook just start beating the crap out of each other. Yeah, and Snow comes with her bow and arrow.
Yeah, I love Snow. Snow's so badass.
Exactly. And they all just start beating each other up. This was really a fun half-season finale. Yeah. Jennifer says, I love the part with Ink. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That was. This was a fun episode. I love Mulan, though, when she wasn't whining with Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, because she's wanting to get back her heart. And yeah, there and Emma and Hook, they again, they start beating each other up, and Cora and Snow. So it was like a big brawl. And this, of course, we all talked about it. This talk where he's like,
comment, yeah,
if I jab you with my sword,
woman on my back,
yeah, and it was exactly what it was supposed to be. It was just him being naughty. But later, some people tried to say, oh, he was threatening to rape her. It's like, oh, for crying out loud, he was being naughty. If he wanted to rape her, he would have. That's just all there is to it. And, of course, Emma wasn't very afraid. She just goes and kicks him, And
then it's like, we gotta go.
Yeah. And yes, she fights him off, and lots of witty dialogue. And then Captain Floor. Woohoo! Yeah, this scene was awesome. Yes, it was amazing. It was so much fun. So she knocks him down, and then this line that she says right here, now let's go home. And I remember I was like, yes, please, yes, because we were waiting for so long. Just get these people home. And then they do, but now Regina and Rumpelstiltskin are trying to stop it from happening, because they're almost positive that Snow and all them would lose to Cora, and they don't know that they won.
And our truest believer, Henry.
Exactly. And then the heart of the truest believer comes in, and he's like, please, Mom, please. Don't do this. And believe in them. And I do. Ripple wasn't exactly very nice to Ruby. He basically slams her back with magic. He
Yeah.
doesn't quite believe, but and but Regina, out of her love for her son, decides, okay, look at that. Look at that face. Look at that face. Henry can get to Regina, the hardest, truest believer. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens. And I love this. They hold hands, Emma and Snow. And then on the other side,
Jump!
they're like, jump. Exactly.
And then they climb out, and Rumple's ready to.
Yeah. And Regina goes and uses her magic to
She
save him.
collapses, doesn't she, from doing it?
Yeah, it took a lot out of her. And I mean, I'm not one of those that's going to excuse Rumple. Rumple does some bad stuff, and this was probably one of those times where he did. And Regina was right there with him, but then she's like, "No, okay, I'm not going to because of Henry. Henry to Regina is kind of what Luke was to Darth Vader at the and it turns out it's like the belief of her son.
Yeah.
Inspired her,
and then they come climbing out.
Yeah, and then instead of Cora, who comes out, it's so and Emma. It was so exciting, and they all hug, and I was so excited for this. It was so much fun. It paid off. You see, this was the thing. It paid off, and it paid off within a few months.
Yeah,
it was with the 9th episode. They didn't leave us like waiting for the payoff for like 10 years but the hugs,
and then she's got to go find Charming to give him his kiss.
Yes, and then she goes in and gives him true love.
And the dwarfs are there looking, and the dwarfs were taking care of him. Like
exactly, it mirrored the other part in Henry's scarf.
Yeah, and then we had that moment.
Yeah, that dialogue, and so I know you talked about it a little bit before, but maybe expound upon that. Go ahead and expound upon that, because what you're saying was good.
Because that scene was so good, because Emma comes in and she's like thinking Rumple manipulated this whole scenario. And he said, "Oh no, Miss Swan, there was no imagining you. That was all you." And he explained her that, because she was, because Cora couldn't rip out her heart. And, so that was a very good scene between them, because you kind of see that, they kind of had an adversarial relationship, but they respected each other.
Yeah. And he was almost in awe of it. He's like, the whole child born of true love, that's magic that, he didn't quite comprehend.
Yeah. And then we had that end scene with, she gave Aurora her hook, but we had Hook and Cora at the end.
Yeah.
Open another portal.
Yeah, because apparently portals are really, really easy. But before we go there, nice moment with Henry and Regina. It's like, thank you. Oh, look at that face.
I know. Henry was so cute.
And he gives her a hug, and look how happy she is. So we're getting somewhere with Regina. She's getting somewhere with her son. She did the right thing. But, look at this. Everyone then goes, let's go have a big celebration. Yay. And what do? They leave Henry and Regina, Regina and Rumple behind.
Of course.
And that's when that great line that Rumpelstiltskin says, he's like, maybe one time they may even invite you to dinner, or something to that effect. Kind of saying a little bit of the theme for both him and Regina is that no good deed ever goes unpunished for them. That at the end of the day, they were more than happy. They did the right thing, but people weren't having it with them.
No.
They would be left behind. They would still be alone and questioning whether doing the right thing is worth it. And that's definitely something that Regina is going to be exploring in her next few episodes.
Yeah. And then they're all happy, walking down the street, no crises. They didn't need Regina and Rumple because they didn't have any crises.
Well, exactly, and it's like they're forgetting. Wait a second, it all would have gone to Hell if it weren't for Regina and Rumpel.
Yeah, because Rumpel helped him connect with Snow and the Dreamland,
Yeah,
and there's the pirate ship.
yeah, this great shot of where we realize that they did end up coming through the portal, and because they found another one, and this great shot of the pirate ship. Every time they do the pirate ship, there's this magic.
Mm-hmm.
And they arrive in
And there they
Storybook.
are.
Yes.
Ta-da.
Great cliffhanger. Fantastic cliffhanger. So now that got us through the first half
Yes.
of season 2. Yay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jennifer, Allison. Let's see, we had Ara and
Nick,
Apollo Patriot
Allison.
and Nick. Yes.
Yeah, thank
And
you. And thank
hopefully
you
I
for all
didn't
those.
miss anybody.
Yeah, thank you for all those that will be listening later. I know some of our friends from across the pond watch it on Monday morning.
And Nick made a comment there.
Yeah, let's see this. Something. I think Deus Ex Machina is only acceptable if it gets your characters into trouble. I usually forget such a moment if it leads the protagonist into more conflict. Yes, yes, yes.
Definitely.
Good point. I think good point, actually.
Yes, it is.
Because I think we get mad, when it gets them out of trouble because it feels like it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But bad people are allowed to cheat, so bad people are allowed to have a Deus Ex Machina. Good point. Yes, have a nice night, everybody. Great. Oh, Luffy has got, well, it's not that you're late so much as, yeah, you're late, but that's okay. But you're never late because you're always welcome here, as are any people that want to come into our chat.
Please come watch it. And
yeah, listen to it on the rerun, maybe revisit.
Thanks for revisiting once with us.
Yeah, we have a really good time. We had a lot of fun with it, and it's always fun doing this. It's usually bi-weekly because, our lives. So have a great week, everyone. Have a great week, and be certain if you've just be certain to just grab as many beans as you can, and don't believe anyone when they say that there aren't any more magical beans.
No, and all magic has a price. So
all magic comes with a price.
Yes.
Always remember that. Good night.